Hello everybody, welcome to beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. My name is Cyrus Jansen and I want to welcome you to a very special episode that we're having here on the YouTube channel. Now, why am I in downtown Vancouver today? Well, we are having a very high profile case. I'm standing outside the British Columbia Supreme Courthouse and we have China's Meng Wanzhou, the CFO of the largest telecommunications company in the world. That, of course, is Huawei. She is standing trial against the United States of America in a very high-profile extradition case. Now, today I was able to gain access as public and media are able to gain access to the courtrooms. We are able to go inside and listen to the testimony. Now, this week is an important week because essentially they are questioning the RCMP officers that arrested Meng at the Vancouver airport on December 1st, 2018. Now, RCMP stands for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, for those of you that are not Canadian. And essentially there was a lot of conspiracies and there was a lot of red flags that happened during this arrest process. I was able to attend the meeting today and I want to share with you some of these amazing insights that I learned about this trial. This is a very high profile case and you're not going to want to miss this episode. Let's go. Well, everybody, now, first of all, you might be wondering to yourself, why is a case between China's Meng Wanzhou versus the United States of America, why is this being done in Canada right now? Well, this is a very complicated situation, and I'm going to give you everybody a little bit of background information into this case. Now, first of all, the United States government has been tracking Meng Wanzhou starting in early August 2018, and it was Donald Trump's administration that decided to basically go against Huawei and to essentially take them down. Now, as we all know, that Huawei is the worldwide leader in 5G technology. They are pioneering that technology, and Donald Trump himself said in the White House that Sabrina Meng Wanzhou, she is the CFO of this company, but she is also the daughter of the founder of Huawei. She's a very high-profile person in China. Donald Trump himself said that Sabrina Meng Wanzhou, is the Ivanka Trump of China. He had a lot of motive to have her arrested and these allegations brought against her. We're going to talk more specifically about these allegations. Now, the interesting thing is that the United States, they issued a warrant for her arrest in August 22nd, 2018. And the United States, the FBI, began tracking Meng's whereabouts everywhere that she traveled in the world. Now, from that time, from August 22nd until her arrest, she had traveled to 6 different countries. She traveled to Britain, to Ireland, to France, Japan, Belgium, Poland, all of these countries that I've just mentioned, all of them having extradition treaties with the United States of America. Now, interesting enough, she flew into Vancouver International Airport on December 1st, 2018. And it wasn't until November 30th, the day before she arrived, that the United States authorities actually gave the arrest warrant to Canadian officials and basically said, if you do not arrest Meng tomorrow in Vancouver, the United States will not have another chance to arrest her. Now, interesting enough, when Meng was flying into Vancouver International Airport, she was actually in transit. She was actually transiting on a flight down to Mexico, where then she would go to Costa Rica and Argentina. Now, all of these countries that I have just listed right now, all of them, all 10 of them, including Canada, of course, have an extradition treaty with the United States of America. But why didn't the United States choose Canada? That's a big question. That is why, why are we here at this courthouse? Why are we, here filming today? Now, the big reason is, of course, is that Canada has a very strong relationship with the United States. It's the largest trading partner. We share a very large border. Obviously, they're our closest ally. And what's interesting is I was talking to the police officers inside the courtroom and I asked them a simple question. I said, as Canadians, how do you feel about this high-profile case happening in your own country? And the officer replied, well, unfortunately, with these extradition laws, Canada really doesn't have a choice. We must listen to the United States, and essentially we're doing Donald Trump's dirty work. That was the exact words from the police officers that I just talked in today. Now, another reason that the United States chose Canada as the country that they really wanted to enforce, this extradition process is that usually extradition trials take a tremendous amount of time. We're talking years often. And of course, this arrest was on December 1st, 2018. This is now October 2020. There's real no sight and end for Meng as she is going, through this trial. Now, she's currently on house arrest. Meng does have residency status here in Canada. She does own a house here in Canada. So she has been under house arrest at her property here in Vancouver. And, she is attending this trial this week. There already will be another trial next month in November as they continue to question the officers. And right now I want to give everybody a little bit of insight into why this arrest was so controversial. The first reason is the actual charges the U.S. has brought against Meng. She is being accused of violating U.S. sanctions with Iran. The U.S. Department of Justice believes that Meng misrepresented Huawei's relationship with Skycom, a Hong Kong company that tried to sell American products to Iran. The evidence for these allegations are limited, and most people believe this is simply America trying to slow down the rapid growth of Huawei, which earlier this year overtook Samsung as the largest manufacturer of mobile phones in the world. The second reason is the mishandling of her arrest by the RCMP and the CBSA, which stands for the Canadian Border Services Agency. Essentially, the CBSA detained Meng before she was arrested. They brought her into secondary, which is very much out of the ordinary, because the way that it works is that the RCMP, your police force, if they have a warrant for the arrest, they could easily just go onto the plane and they could have arrested Meng. That would be the normal procedure. If they didn't want to go onto the plane, they could have waited for her to get off the plane and then arrest her there. Now, the RCMP officer today, he said that they were worried about safety. They didn't want to endanger other passengers on the plane. They also didn't know if she was, had any weapons or anything, which I find extremely crazy, because how are you going to bring a weapon onto a plane? So essentially what he said is, they could not arrest her on the plane or when they got off. What they also did is they allowed the Canadian Border Services Agency to actually detain her first and bring her into secondary. And this is where a lot of the violations happened. That when she was detained by Canadian Border Services, they actually confiscated her devices. In addition to that, they forced her to write down the passwords to those devices on a separate sheet of paper. And here's where it gets crazy. Somehow, they admit that they somehow accidentally turned both the devices and the piece of paper with the passwords over to the police accidentally. How does that happen? It's not an accident. And this is what the prosecutor was really getting at today, is that the RCMP, he knew he had an arrest for her warrant. The RCMP officer, he could have easily arrested her, but he did not. He allowed Canadian Border Services to actually arrest her first, or not actually arrest her, but to detain her, bring her into secondary for the sole purpose of gaining access to her personal devices. In addition to that, she was detained for up to 3 hours and questioned without access to a lawyer. Now again, all of this goes against the law. This is a clear violation of her rights, and this is what the Supreme Court is basically debating today. Now, the big question from today's trial was this. The prosecutor asked the RCMP officer, why did you, again, not arrest Meng when you had the opportunity to? And he said, well, we believe that YVR is the airport here in Vancouver. He said, we believe that YVR is under the jurisdiction of the Canadian Border Service Agency. And the prosecutor said, well, you're RCMP, you are the police officer, you also have jurisdiction, and you do know that in precedents, many other people with extradition cases have been directly arrested. Now, in addition to that, after that, they talked about a meeting that went down between RCMP and the Canadian Border Services Agency the night before the arrest. And so the prosecutor was asking him, you guys attended a meeting. You knew what was going on. Obviously, if you had a meeting, you had emails, there's text messages, there's much communication between both sides. They knew exactly what they were going to do. This was a well-orchestrated plan to obviously, make sure that they were able to detain her first, gain access to her devices, and illegally question her and basically violate her rights. So again, this is a very high-profile case. Unfortunately for Meng, there doesn't really seem to be a timetable for this. I believe it's going to continue for many more years to come, possibly. As crazy as that sounds, it might continue for even, much longer than this. But this is the facts that we've learned today in the courtroom today. Very interesting session, but I'm very happy to be here in Vancouver to be reporting about this because, unfortunately for Canada, they're really put in the middle of a very difficult situation. You see, Canada has a great relationship with both the United States and with China. I believe Canada right now, they are essentially stuck in the middle. because they are being forced, like many other countries in the world right now, to essentially choose your side. Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to be with? Do you want to be with the United States or with China? And I think this is why many Canadians right now are very frustrated with this case, because, they realize that this is simply a case of Donald Trump going against China. It is the United States' advantage to try to, they're trying to take out Huawei. This is the biggest, this is the reality on why all of these things are happening. They know that Huawei has the superior technology. They are the pioneer in 5G technology, and they have a motive to get this. And we're hoping for a resolution. I believe that people here in Canada, they believe in the justice system. They are hoping that essentially she can be released. And in addition to this is very controversial as well, because China has 2 Canadians that are currently arrested in China in retaliation to Meng being arrested here in Canada. So it is a very complicated situation. And honestly, we are all hoping that, the justice system prevails here in Canada to release her. Hopefully the Canadians can get, released in China as well. I do believe that as soon as Meng is released from here, these Canadians in China will also be arrested, or will also be released rather. But, only time will tell. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching today's episode. I hope you were able to learn a little bit more about the situation of Huawei versus the United States of America here, ironically, in Vancouver, Canada. Again, like I mentioned many times in this video, I'm hoping that the justice system here in Canada does prevail and that Meng Wanzhou will be released. I believe that for the country of Canada itself, obviously having 2 Canadians arrested in China, they want to see a very efficient process, with this trial. Hopefully Meng will be released, and, this current situation between the United States and China can really not involve Canada at the moment. Again, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. If you're not already, click that subscribe button and drop me a comment down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and there's going to be more about this as we continue to follow the story of Meng Wanzhou, Huawei, China, Canada, and everybody involved. Thank you for spending time with me today, guys. My name's Cyrus, and we'll see you in the next video.